Hello, everybody. Dr. Moore here. I hope you're doing well. First and foremost, I want you to know that I'm here for you. So when, not if, you have questions, please look at my office hours and please come and visit. But I also have an email, so reach out when you have questions. I know there are people out there that are, for whatever reason, scared to ask questions or don't want to ask questions, and then they're stuck or they get a 0 or they're confused. So reach out. I'm here to help. Okay. This discussion is all about Chapter 4, the psychophysiological connection, especially as it pertains to exercise and physical activity. So breaking apart that word, psychophysiological, kind of a big word, right? Psycho meaning psychology, physiological meaning body, physical, okay? So how these two are connected and the influence of that, again, on physical activity and exercise. First and foremost, you'll see the term psyche in this chapter. And many of you I know are assuming, and when you hear this word psyche, you go straight to psychology. Psych is in the title. It's a part of it. So when we are referring to psyche, especially in the literature, think of all the inner workings of the human experience. So emotional, psychological, even spiritual orientations. Okay? The reason this is important is because exercise and physical activity has an enormous role on the psyche. So not only our thoughts, but emotions and spiritual and all the inner workings. I mean, think about this beautiful state that we live in alone, Utah. The outdoors life here is huge, right? I know for a fact, because I grew up in the state, that skiing and hiking and snowboarding and mountain biking, it's much, much more than just a physical experience where your legs are burning and you're burning calories and you're strengthening your body and your anaerobic and aerobic capacity. It's a spiritual experience as well. I know many of you can relate to this. When we go up in those mountains, these beautiful mountains that we have in this state, you feel a connection to something greater than yourself. Now, whether that's God or whomever it is that you connect with, that's up to you. But nonetheless, that's there. That presence is there. And so physical activity and exercise becomes much more than just burning calories and strengthening your quads. It's strengthening your spiritual, cognitive, emotional, or psyche as well. So keep that in mind of how holistically these are connecting and the enormous influence that physical activity and exercise has on that. Okay. You'll see in the slides here in this module the hex nut activity. So this is a string with a hex nut tied to the end of it. If we were in person, this is what we would be doing. I want to invite you all to go get a string, go get a hex nut. It just looks like this. And tie it at the end. And then I want you to hold as still as possible while holding it, kind of a 90-degree angle. I have to put my arm up so you can see what I'm doing. But all I want you to do is I want you to tell it to go back and forth. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. My arm and my hand isn't moving. But look at that thing. Now stop it. And I want you to tell it to go front to back, or up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. Do you see that moving? My gosh, I'm magical. I have the power. And tell it to stop. I want you to go try this. Now I want you to tell it to go in a circle, clockwise. Circle, clockwise. Circle, clockwise. Circle. Look at that thing. You guys, I didn't study at Hogwarts. This isn't just magic. Although I would probably be in the House of Gryffindor because that's, I think, what mostly I align with. Pretty cool activity. The gist of that activity is there is a connection to how we think and how we act, and the literal activity that we're producing as a result of our cognitions, our thoughts. What you think about has power, has influence, enormous influence. With this cute little activity, by repeating that phrase back and forth, front to back, circular, clockwise, you're creating these neural pathways in your brain. And when we repeat it, this manifestation process begins, and we're literally creating electricity in the brain that goes down through here, shoulder, arm, and through these tiny little micro movements at the tips of our finger. And it forces that thing to move. But you don't see yourself actually moving it. So again, a beautiful illustration of the power of thought. I want you to try this and see what you think. But here's your discussion post, okay? So as you go about writing your discussion, here's your prompt. You ready? In thinking about this hex nut activity and the power of thought, and as it literally produces activity / movement / behaviors, how has that shown up in your life with physical activity and or exercise? I don't mean literally how have you done this activity. What I mean is, how has the power of thought and really the inner workings of your experience played a role, so much so that you can see it happening? That you produced a certain movement, that your motivation was XYZ, that your relationship with so-and-so at this gym was XYZ, whatever. How has the inner workings of your experience, mostly the cognitive realm of things, played a role in producing energy and activity and movement in your life as it pertains to physical activity and exercise, and/or exercise? There's your prompt. Write about it. Let me know what you think. Can't wait to read your responses. Keep working hard.